Just look on the bright side of life.
Okay, I went a little far. Okay, hang with us. I can see the faces. You're like, what? Okay, hang with us. Okay.
We actually just went through.
We're good. All right, guys. We're going to talk about the first 30 days. If you've ever watched any of our video blogs, heard us teach before, we hammer on this.
This is our favorite. This is the most important part of the transaction.
If you're having a rough time getting your short sales closed, I'm going to suggest it's because you're not doing a good enough job in the first 30 days. The first 30 days is where short sales are won and lost. Hear me on that. First 30 days is where short sales are won or lost. Okay? Our whole thought process with the short sale is that once we have a fully executed contract, that we can go to the title company, that we can get a HUD or a pre-audit or a net sheet from them the same day as we executed the contract, that we can then fax that HUD and that offer and the seller's financial package to the bank. All in one day. That's the idea here, okay? The next idea would then be that we could call the bank back within a couple of days and verify that they have everything, okay? From there, we would expect that we could go ahead and get a broker price opinion order within 1 or 2 weeks and have somebody assigned to the file. And all that would happen in the first 30 days. Now, I just said a lot. I'm going to slow down and go back through it, but I'm giving you the overview of what we're looking to do in the first 30 days. Okay? I want to actually go backwards just 1 second and make a statement because we did skip over it. The day that we have the listing in the MLS, the first day that we list the property, we're actually going to call the bank and we're going to find out where we need to fax our authorization, our borrower's authorization, okay? I can tell you right now that there's a lot of people that aren't faxing their borrower's authorization in until they have a contract, and it in itself is slowing you down, and I know that because we used to do it, okay? So I'm going to suggest that you call the bank and send over your authorization, which is the document that allows you to talk to the bank on the borrower's behalf before you ever even have an offer, and that you confirm that the bank received that authorization before you ever got a contract. Everybody with me? Yeah. Okay, so when I get a contract on the property, I go to the title company.
Can I give them a couple tips there really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, when you call to verify the borrower's authorization, which should happen a couple days after you've sent it, and by the way, if they don't have it yet, just send it again, and then send it every day from that day forward until they verify that they have it. Take notes, who you spoke to, what time, and I'm going to give you one extra tip. Ask them what screen they verified that on. That may not make a lot of sense to you, but in bank speak, like they literally have all their screens that all the information is on, has names on the top of them. Like they've got funny names. Ask them where they found it, because I promise if you do enough short sales, in fact, if you just do 2, eventually you'll call the bank and they'll be like, we don't even have your authorization. You've been working with them for 45 days. So,
seriously, who's experienced that? You're like 30, yeah, exactly. Okay?
Oh, I'm not the only one.
That was a lot of
good.
hands.
Wow.
So it's a good tip, guys. Really, fax your authorization in before you ever have a contract. And when you call to verify it, notate the date that the bank received it. Not what day you called. Ask them what date did they receive it. And Kevin's saying go one step further. Find out what screen the person on the other end of the phone found that information on. It sounds ridiculous, I understand, okay?
But the banks are ridiculous.
But the Outback mindset says, I can't sit around and wait to be one of the 20 files that Juan Marquez at GMAC approves this month, okay? Like what we're setting you up for here with the first 30 days is to say, we could sit here all day long and talk about bank problems. We can talk about how they're understaffed. We can talk about how the government's HAPA program isn't going to do anything. We can talk about a lot of things. We talk about a lot of problems that are going on in the short sale world. But I'm going to suggest that talking about the problems isn't really going to lead you to close any more short sales. Okay? So the idea that what we're building here with the Outback mindset is that rather than talk around problems, I'm going to figure out how to be one of Juan Marquez's 20 short sales that gets approved this month. Okay? And how I do that, it's going to look different every time. And that's where a lot of you in the room are going to go, oh my goodness, I don't. And maybe you don't want to do short sales. I'm not scaring you away from them. That's not my intention today. But there's a true commitment to doing a short sale. And when you find yourself asking, well, how do I do this and how do I do that?
Check your why.
Yeah, you're limiting your ability to think and create solutions. Do you guys hear that? The minute we go into, well, how did you do that? Or how do you do that? You're limiting your ability to come up with solutions. Okay? I'm just to entertain you and get you re-engaged. Kevin and I have done some crazy stuff on short sale files. Let me do this real quick. I didn't give this one away yesterday. How many people in the room know a friend or family member that works at a bank? Raise your hand.
Whether it's a branch or a call center.
I don't care where they work. Okay. So almost half the room knows somebody.
So you all
have you ever thought to maybe get together with the people in your market center and develop a list of all the people you know that work inside the bank and have them be advocates for you? Like, have you ever thought that maybe the bank employee, like that's your dad, my dad works for Chase Bank, would have access,
we love them anyway,
would have access to the address book of the entire company? Did anybody just get what I just said? Are you following that?
I think that just like sat on a few people.
That's huge, guys, and it's a great tip. Like, think about it. A lot of times we get stuck in this, well, how do I do that? And we don't think of all the resources that are around us. We told this story yesterday, but we were working on a Wachovia file one day, and how many times you hadn't gotten hung up on at least
I got hung up on at least 5 or 6 times in a row. This was in like a 12 to 15 minute period, and I was frustrated.
And you were getting hung up on because every time you were asking for a manager because you didn't like their answer.
They said,
and every time you asked for a manager, said you can't talk to one, and they would eventually hang up on you.
And I'm so not used to that happening.
So Kevin, literally you and I sat there and we said, well, what we're currently doing isn't working because 6 times in a row being hung up on is not the end result we're looking for. What else can we do?
And in this particular situation, I said, you know what? We've talked about this. I've always wanted to go to a bank branch. It happened to be Wachovia, and there happened to be a brand new branch open a mile away from our office. So we literally picked up, at the time we were still on paper files, it was right before we transitioned to an online system. We literally picked up our paper file, drove to the branch, walked into the front door and asked to see who was in charge. The branch manager was like, oh, I am, I'm the manager, what can I do for you? And I said,
mind you, the bank had been open like a week, so he was just happy like customers were in the building, and he's like, oh, I can help you. And
I think he wanted to open a checking account or something.
Yeah, I don't want to open anything, I actually need your help on a short sale. And he's like, what? Yeah, let's go into your office. So we were like,
completely unboxed the guy. He had no idea what to do. So I said, here's what you're going to do. I'm tired of getting hung up on. We're going to go to your office, and I'm going to ask you, you're going to call this number right here. See that 800 number? You're going to identify yourself as a bank employee. In fact, you're the branch manager, and you need to speak with the supervisor within the short sale department. And so he did, and then we did, and that was an Outback solution. It's not about what we did or how we did it, it's about why we did it.
We come up with new things all the time, guys. I'm not, the Outback says there's limitless solutions. There's no competition, and as long as you can come up with an agreement that fits 2 parties, that guy wasn't mad at us, he didn't kick us out of the bank branch, he was willing to help us. So why wouldn't we use him as a resource?
We got a toaster on the way out, actually. It's great. Just kidding, I made that up right now.
I really wasn't ready for that one. I mean, sorry. Anyway, I'll have that conversation later. I can't tell you.
You guys just come to a class at our Market Center. We was like all day.
Okay, are you guys getting the context of that though? It's not about what. So to bring the conversation back over here, the first 30 days is all about getting your file set up. Understand that if you have a contract that's accepted today, but you never get the bank to actually acknowledge they received it for 3 more weeks, when do you think they document in their system your file was received and opened? It was open 3 weeks from today. And they're not interested in when you executed the contract. All their time frames and their timelines in their system are based off of when they received the file.
And since they're not a party to the contract, they don't care about the contract date. If they were, they may actually care and move a little bit quicker, but that's for a different class.
So the idea would be, day 1, you get your HUD, you fax in your short sale package. I'm going to suggest within 2 days, 48 business hours, you call back and see if they have it. If they don't have it, this is where some people are messing up, okay? The bank's telling you, well, it takes 3 to 5 business days, sometimes 7 or 10, call back. And so a lot of you are then counting out 3, 5, 7 days, and you're calling back and you're finding out that they still don't have it. And so now this rep, 10 days into your short sale process, is telling you maybe you should fax it again. You've now just lost 2 weeks in the short sale process. Do you guys catch that?
Always look on the bright